and welcome back. Picking up where we left off last time in the Long Dark, where we were kind of hoping that it would have rolled around today while we slept. Didn't quite get that long of a sleep. I might be able to just pass like an hour. Might be enough. Yes. Interesting. We took the shelf, but not the door. I pull up the Y. Can't I clear you? I can stand you up. Okay. Well, we can make it a little more decorative by just doing that with it. Now it's embedded in the floor. Great job, Kit. Close enough. So now we've got the scrap metal, which of course weighs a lot.
I might have to drop some gear.
Wondering over here, because if I remember correctly, and well, my memory is not always the best, I should have some meat here, and I do. I'll leave the remainder of the meat there. Fine. Okay, so now the trip is to get back to Orland Muskeg and shove that scrap metal in the radio tower. Actually thinking, man, I probably want the fuel closer to here than there. So let's go ahead and leave the 3.5 kilograms of cedar firewood that's making us slow behind so we can move faster. I wonder, does this count as sunny? Yes. Yeah, not being encumbered, it helps with saving on calories, it helps in getting you to where you're going faster. I think it makes you gain fatigue slower as well. There's a whole raft of benefits. Not getting over your carrying capacity saves you. But on the other hand, as many players who play this game can probably attest, most of us are hoarders, and we like to carry too much stuff with us. Yeah, I can definitely see the taking less damage and struggles being very valuable. Depending upon what struggle mode you're on. If you have like the button mash inversion toggled on and you have like a auto clicker, then maybe that'll make a big difference. But if you're playing like I'm playing, where you've got like press and hold on, so a struggle is pretty consistent duration, then yeah, I can definitely see reduced damage and struggles being valuable for not being over-encumbered.
die if I don't warm up soon.
He says that, but, you know, we've got other things I'd be more worried about than the little bit of cold that we're going to get between here and the camp office. I'm going to duck in the camp office to warm up, though. Yeah, I'm not the best at staying unencumbered, but I try to stay unencumbered when my fatigue is over half. That way, when you take the carrying capacity malus from being fatigued, your malus is the only thing that's really making you slow and being overcovered. And at least in my experience, it makes a big difference if you're like 10, 15 kilograms overencumbered versus like 20. Yeah, well, you can see I have all these piles of meat around. That's actually the main reason I've got all the piles of meat, is so that I don't have to carry meat around with me, just to save on the carrying capacity of the food. I find good places for hunting and make piles of meat. Oh, that's good to know. And for YouTube viewers, the statement was, well, the fatigue carry weight loss doesn't count to struggle damage. The low meters are separate numbers in the equation. Oh, another Twitch chatter is saying it doesn't matter, so... Twitch chat gives you both opinions. Both positive and negative. Okay, we stopped off here mainly to warm up, and not because we got significant travel ahead of us. Yeah, we're back over weight again. Probably want to leave some stuff behind. In fact, actually, let's leave the cereal behind. Are any of the peaches here non-ruined? Nope, they're all ruined. We'll add some more ruined peaches to the pile. I don't need to wearing this many hats, I think. I've got too many hats. Let's, get a decent torch out. And then that will give us the time to disassemble a torch to have a stick. So yes, I think the consensus that was reached in Twitch chat is that the meters being empty makes you take more damage in struggles, and being over carrying capacity makes you take more damage in struggles. And that those both affect the thing in a potentially somewhat separate way. What I'm gleaning from the reading is correct. Just not have that tea burn. Okay. I'm like, why am I hearing bubble? Okay, I've got stick. Okay. Oh, I was starting that fire also because I wanted to make some water. Yeah, probably enough to get that cooked. Some more quality torches, yeah. Feel less bad about some of these ones. And then we can toss. Stick it in the fire, pull the lit torch out. Okay, this is decent weather. Everything goes according to plan. Should be able to make it all the way to the radio tower. Shove our scrap metal in it. And maybe even get back for the Aurora hits. Good luck with the search for the food in the pantry. This is looking more like it's transitioning into a blizzard. Yep, this is a blizzard. This torch is... Yep. I was about to say, this torch is about to go out, and as I was about to say, ow, there goes the light. We'll put that torch away. Okay, so we're not going to go out to the radio tower, because the blizzard is one of the few types of weather I do not like traveling in Forlorn Muskeg with. So we're going to detour to Trapper's Cabin. Still have surprisingly high visibility for what I think is a blizzard, but that might just be that the fog hasn't rolled in yet. So one of the twitch I was bringing up can be helpful because there's also no wolves. Yeah, that's why often in a lot of places I don't mind the blizzard. And we can tell the blizzard hasn't fully kicked in yet because there's a deer. So the blizzard hasn't obviously despawned anything yet. But yeah, usually the blizzards stop regular wolves from spawning in. And if they meet the despawn conditions, they'll despawn as well. So the only thing you have to be careful about in a blizzard is if you're near a wolf, the wolf may not despawn right away. And if it's aggroed on you, it won't despawn, for example. Like, this deer's close enough, it doesn't meet the despawn requirement, so even if this is a true blizzard, it won't despawn right now. But no more will spawn in. I think generally the spawn-despawn rules prevents things from disappearing when you're looking at them. The game has enough of an object permanency that if you're staring at something, it generally doesn't make the thing disappear. Every once in a while it screws up and does anyway, but, you know, usually doesn't.
Wait.
Let's do a little bit of sprinting here to get to
Warming up again.
Trapper's Cabin. Save us taking a little ignition damage. Well, maybe this is just a storm and not a blizzard because the deer haven't despawned. Which would explain the lack of fog. You usually get a little bit more vision blinding in a blizzard. Slip in here to warm up. If it is a blizzard, when we step back outside, the deer will all be gone. Okay, let's drop the red book. I tend to preserve these for later. So put it up somewhere on a shelf so we remember it's been read. And then if this is a storm, a good way to pass it is, when you got a book, is to read a book. How's the way of looking? Yeah, I'm thinking this might just be a storm and not a blizzard. It's still annoying timing. Yeah, this must be a storm, not a blizzard. Blizzard would have despawned the deer. Interloper, you don't often get storms, so I mischaracterized it as a blizzard. Yeah, and Twitch is basically agreeing with me that generally if you spawn wolves into a region by being close by, they will still be up and won't despawn. And then you also have to be careful. I think now with the wildlife refresh, timber wolves are in more biomes now, especially on difficulties lower than Interloper. Unlike Stalker has a lot of timber wolves now in random places. And timber wolves will spawn during blizzards. So if you assume there's no wolves, oh, you might have a bad day when you run into those timber wolves. I remember random spawns on Stalker. I've spawned in Bleak Inlet, in a blizzard, ran face first into a pack of timber wolves. Hasn't been a while since that started, though. Mainly because I've been playing mostly on Interloper. Interloper's got a lot more restrictions on where the timber wolves can spawn.
Can't feel my hip. Too heavy.
Someone in Twitch chat is agreeing with me that we've all been there.
Goddamn freezing.
In some ways, I've gotten smarter. I don't run into timber wolves and blizzards anymore. In some ways, I've gotten dumber. Now I run into them in auroras instead. Which I have done multiple times. Doing a stim collection speedrun, we spawned in that Bleak. We spawned at Bleak. Was interesting to get out, to say the least. Yeah, at least on Interloper, there's some decent paths to get out of Bleak Inlet. Though, if it's a speedrun to collect the stims, I think you've got to go to the places where the timberwolves are for the stims. Getting out of Bleak Inlet without running the timberwolves is fairly easy. Getting out of Bleak Inlet after collecting the stims is maybe less so. Yeah, in this series, I have nearly accidentally ended the run a couple times of running into timberwolves in auroras, thinking if I'm sneaky about it, I can get to the closest radio set to talk to Sutherland in the middle of the aurora, only to run face first into a couple timberwolves. Yeah, after the wildlife refresh, at least on Interloper, the packs in Bleak Inlet are not guaranteed to always be up.
I need to drop something.
And to be fair, there are a couple paths that if you know what you're doing, you can sort of weave through them, but then you have to go out of your way. And they still block certain places. Like, there's almost always one at the... Almost always one at the cannery, I think. Okay, so we came back here to warm up. Well, I also came back here to drag the meat over, so the meat's closer to a more visible location. when I'm coming through and need food and or water. Arguably, I may need water right now.
Come on.
Drop the can, because it's just taking up carrying capacity. I think I have a couple torches here. See if we can see stuff better with the lantern out. No, let's have processed all the torches. Okay, we're gonna have to put a little more fuel in that fire than I was planning, probably. Well, or I can disassemble some of the higher quality torches. Yeah, we'll just bite the bullet, just toss a piece of coal in. Used to think beachcombing was random, but after finding birch at the lighthouse coast, at Bleak Inlet 4 out of 5 times, I think it's a bit more fixed. Perhaps some variables, a bit like loot tables. So yeah, it's basically rolling off of a random loot table. So what it can pull is a list of things, and what it can dump in particular locations is a list of things, right? So the devs have done various attempts, maybe not all successful, have done various attempts to make it so that certain items that can spawn in beachcombing can be accessible. Like if you get the watch to shore boat, they have tried to adjust it so you can always get into the boat and do stuff on the boat, which kind of restricts where the boat can spawn, for example. And by extrapolation, that means it's only in the loot pool for certain portions of the beachcombing, and that does have effects on the beachcombing, like the randomness of the beachcombing. Now this is a blizzard. Back inside. What? Actually, well, we're gonna read. Let's say maybe I should try to sleep it off, but no, we're late enough in the day that the blizzard doesn't go away before it ends up nighttime. Then we're not probably traveling today. Assume the blizzard's still up because it sounds like it's up. Yep. Those boats were a trap, yeah. They've been fixed a little bit. They're a little bit less of a trap these days. Doesn't mean you don't get trapped things. And to be fair, I think the fix was basically having them spawn far enough up the ice sheet that the ground underneath them should be not classified as thin ice so that you can get out into them. Okay, so we're able to get outside. No, I went to sleep away the blizzard, and the blizzard's still here. Should be, yeah. Most of the time you can loot the boats. Some of the times,
I need to find something to drink.
you're gonna wish that you have your crampons on, so you've got time to get off the boat in case you get one of the unlucky ones. Is it still a blizzard down there? I think we went to sleep to get out of the blizzard, only for the blizzard to pass and come back in the middle of the night. Yeah. That sounds like the blizzard gone away. Maybe. We got the gale force winds, but we don't got the precipitation and the snow, so I'm gonna say that that's gone far enough at least. Well, in my experience, a whole bunch of successful and safe beachcombing in general is not trusting the ice. Always be paranoid. If you're trusting the ice, that's the quickest way to get lured into a false sense of security and go ploop right through it. No, I was hoping if we stepped inside and got to reload, the gale force winds would go away. Yeah, at least this doesn't look like a bad day to travel other than the horrendous wind. Yeah, hypothermia is really painful in game. I think it saps your fatigue meter at the same time as making it really hard to get warm and stay warm.
I need to find some place to escape this cold.
Okay, so other than stopping to warm up, I think the next destination should be to get to that radio tower and actually get it fixed. It's the only thing that's missing was the scrap metal, and we now got that scrap metal. Yeah, nice clear day, so we should make pretty good time. In fact, it's such a nice day, I should check to see if I can start a fire using the sun. But what looks like a sunny day. Yes. Okay. Can I find a stick quickly? That's not a stick. There's a stick.
Come on, come on. Fire's life out here.
There we go. How are we warm next to this fire? 14. So it's about -7 out, which is actually not that bad. Yeah, when you're cold is the very insidious killer in this game. I think when you're cold with hypothermia, you're losing 40% condition an hour. When you're just normally cold, you're losing 20% condition in in-game hour. Whereas fatigue only takes 1 condition in in-game hour, so if anything, you're instead of trying to like drink coffee to make the fatigue go away, you're probably just better off drinking like a birch bark tea and using the condition regen from the birch bark tea to offset the condition loss from the fatigue. Because I think birch bark tea heals you 2% condition an hour, whereas fatigue only kills you 1% condition an hour, so you actually out-heal with the birch bark tea than the fatigue heals. Whereas the cold kills you real quick. The only thing I find that kills you quicker than the cold is the wolves. Torch swap. A little over fatigue, or a little over carrying capacity, but we'll get our carrying capacity back as we leave torches behind. Yeah, the condition timers that just reset whenever you just barely fail to stay warm. Hello, wolves.
Something's gotta go.
The wolves are stuck on each other up there. The howling wolf is immobile and the other one's trying to run through it. Okay, so our destination is up there. We gotta go up the proverbial switchback behind the back here to get up there. Slow walk, almost there. Not worth sprinting and burning the extra fatigue and calories to get there faster, I think. Hello, wolf. I have the mightiest weapons known to man. Flaming torch and a rock. I say that somewhat sarcastically, but also apparently Stone Age man, that's how they got by. Oops. Didn't need that rock. Hey, back at the radio tower.
Too much stuff to carry.
Nice. 4 degrees. 4 degrees is probably just done better with 5 sticks. That'll get us warm. And while we're warming up, let's finish this repair. There's a guy just bends things into position. And or pulls it out so we can stick a different piece in its place. And there we go. I think that is fixed. So batteries in, metal parts are in, wires are in, fuses are in, so we're throwing the switch. And now we have 2 of 4 of the transmitters fixed. And now we can go investigate the signal in the Bleak Inlet.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Wolf's chasing something. Wolf got something. Wolf, your kill is now my kill. One ptarmigan. Okay, that's probably enough sticks to cook the meat off of this ptarmigan when we get to where we're going. So, hope everyone has been enjoying the stream. This is, I think, the 5th part in the stream, so this is actually going to be the last part I'm going to record for YouTube tonight. And probably a good time to end the stream here is going to be when we get up into this cave over here. And we'll be dealing with the consequences of the Aurora at the beginning of next stream, I suspect. So chuck one of my stones. Got it back. Suppose I could go looking for, well, to try using the Aurora to look for the thing in the Bleak Inlet, because in theory it's just through the cave that we're going to do the save in. Hello, wolf. Wolf runs away, wolf runs back, wolf runs away. This is the struggle with carrying around game kills like ptarmigan and rabbits. They're very good at attracting the attention of the local meat-eating wildlife. Okay, all the sticks in the fire. Doesn't necessarily need to be a particularly warm fire, because we're just going to harvest this ptarmigan.
I need to drop something.
You know, my mental debate, I don't think it's worth getting the feathers off of this ptarmigan. Don't need to down that badly. We'll take it into the cave with you, though. Worst case scenario, we won't come around to using it. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and make use of this save point as the save point where we're going to go ahead and end the stream. So if you're watching YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying it. If the recording schedule continues as planned, we'll have another part up for you tomorrow, as I'll record another stream within 5 days. So another part gets recorded for you for tomorrow. No guarantees, because maybe stuff will happen, and I'll get delayed by a day or two. It should be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, I hope you've been enjoying the stream. The next Long Dark stream will be in 5 days, because I do a 5-day game cycle, where I cycle between 5 games, streaming a different game every night. So, obviously, tonight was Long Dark. 5 days from now should be Long Dark, unless something comes up. The schedule, I think, is most of the way up to date. I think the only one I need to update is the Long Dark for 5 days from now. So with that, if anyone on Twitch has any comments, feel free to leave them. I'll try to answer them before I go ahead and end the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, if you've got any comments, leave them in the comment section in YouTube, and I try to respond to those. If they're at least questions and have something worth some way to respond to them, and not just a hype message. So with that, wish you all the best of luck and good time. Catch you all in the next stream. Bye for now.